Hello.
Larry.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, LJ? You're on Over the Top Sports. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
No problem.
How's everything going? How you been?
Everything's going good, except for the Florida weather. It's not like Florida weather right now. It's kind of like up north weather.
Oh man, yeah, it's like 55 degrees over there, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys get any snow?
No, not yet. No. Hopefully we don't.
I heard rumors of flurries in Florida. Well, at least you didn't get that. But
they have falling iguanas falling out of trees.
Yeah.
They're so cold in Florida. Iguanas are falling out of trees.
Yeah, they're walking around frozen.
Listen, it's playoff football weather. You got to love it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know where it's not going to be very warm? That's Arrowhead. You got your Chiefs taking on the Tennessee Titans. What's your take going into this game? What does KC got to do to win?
I think they got to do what they've been doing the last 3 weeks of the season, was basically balance the running game and the passing game, get Travis Kelce in space, get Tyreek Hill one-on-one with a not-so-great defender, and let Hunt basically do what he does, which is catch the ball out of the backfield and be in a single-back formation and basically dominate the game, which is, I think, the keys to winning is running the football, especially at this time of year because everything's cold, guys don't want to hit, the season is longer. So, for the running game, it should be their main goal right now.
Listen, Larry, thank you again for joining us, first of all. Since the last time we talked, you've came out, you've been very public with the CTE. And listen, I've read up on it, with you especially, and I just find it very interesting that throughout your career, you've never been diagnosed with a concussion. So I just wanted to see if you can just speak on that for a minute. And also, how many concussions do you think you had, even though you weren't diagnosed with one?
The thing is, concussions really wasn't a thing of science until maybe the last 5 or 10 years in my career. But people forget that most of us played Pop Warner football. We played when the times we were 8 or 9 years old, and our helmets were bigger than our shoulder pads. So we were banging our heads at very, very young ages and doing drills were basically contact drills where we were doing these drills 4 days out of the week. So we were always banging our heads. And something at that time, we never knew what concussions were. We thought, oh, we got dizzy, or, oh, you got knocked out, you got stunned, or you got a stinger. That's how we related to concussions. They're thinking that, oh, it's just something that we'll get over and just go back out there and practice. But that's how we practice. I think people don't understand that. It's not until we got to college level and into the pros that, oh, we didn't know what concussions were. No, most of us have been playing since we were 9 and 10 years old.
And Larry, I read that you were your first game, you were 9 years old. You got knocked out on the field on a kick return.
Yeah, yeah. It was my first introduction to contact football. And I thought it was just like flag football where guys would just pile up on you and you just fall down, but it didn't seem to happen that way. We went against a team that was, a little bit a bigger weight class, and I just got, tunnel vision, and then the guy just hit me right the side of my helmet, and I just had a headache the whole game. I didn't want to go back into play, and I felt like I let my dad down, my family members down, so it was like I had to go back out there and actually perform. And so after that, you just got over it. But we never thought about it like that.
And knowing what we know now about the trauma and all that, do you have any regrets playing? Because you were a damn good player, LJ.
No, I don't regret anything. Like the most at that time, we were just praying that we didn't tear our ACL. ACL injuries at that time was like one of the career-crushing injuries you could have as a running back or as a player. So I was just hoping not to get one of those. And after that, I accepted everything else up front. I knew this game could eventually, wear and tear on my muscles and my bones and my joints, but never as far as brain, I would never thought that it would just impact me this way.
And let me ask you, we had an awesome class of rookie running backs this year. Who was your favorite? We had Alvin Kamara emerge, we had Fournette, Dalvin Cook before he got hurt, Christian McCaffrey, and even Kareem Hunt. Out of all these rookie running backs, who do you really like?
I like Kareem Hunt. I'm always going to be biased as somebody who wears 27. But I love Kareem Hunt. I love Fournette, but I love the physical aspect of running backs. Like I never was like a scat back or a Dave Maggott or a Dickie Post from San Diego or anybody else. I was more of like a Fournette, a Christian Okoye. Like I was like around those type of guys, like Earl Campbell. Like I love physical running backs because they could just dominate the game in the third and fourth quarter, and that's when you really love to watch the game of football. Is when you see running backs dominate, 8 men in the box, 9 men in the box, and you can't just stop a guy like that. And I love watching running games like that.
It seems in the last couple of years that the NFL has really gotten such an aerial game, such a passing game now. But then, you got all these rookie running backs that Vinny just mentioned. You got Ezekiel Elliott last year. You think that the NFL now is starting to get back to how important the running game could be, and these guys are really turning the game changers. I mean, look what Gurley did for the Rams offense, and obviously Hunt and all the guys that you guys mentioned. You think that the running game is starting to make a little bit of a comeback in the NFL?
I think it's a copycat league. It's always been a copycat league to me. Whatever team wins the Super Bowl, that's the offense they're going to mirror from time one. It just so happens that it's always a New England Patriots variation of their offense that you keep seeing. You keep seeing a pass-heavy oriented offensive playbook. Is because the last guy who won the Super Bowl used passing more than the run game. If you have a team that's successful in the run game and that wins the Super Bowl, you're going to watch every single offense mirror that offensive playbook. And this is the way it is. It's such a copycat league. But I love the fact that the running game is coming back in style, because I love watching a fullback and two tight ends. That's when you get your bread and butter, is to get those third and short yardage situations or third and fourth quarters, and you can dominate the game, and that's what the running game does for you.
And that's the type of football I think of when I think of playoff football, cold weather football. That's that hard-hitting, football that I think of, with the stuff that I grew up loving and watching. One thing I didn't get to ask you last time we talked is, you were teammates with Priest Holmes, and he had such a great career, and you kind of got to sit behind him and learn. What did you learn from Priest Holmes? Because Kansas City was lucky, man, to go from Holmes to you. They had probably the two best running backs over that time. How was your relationship with Priest, and did you learn a lot from him, and did he teach you a lot?
I learned Priest is real quiet, but I learned a lot by observing. I was always an observant learner. So me watching Priest and his patience is what I really picked up from him. Because I was like, some of those plays, those stretch plays that he would run, those outside zone plays, I'm like, wow, why did he stick with it? Why didn't he just either cut it back or cut up? But somehow watching him run, he always found that last-minute hole at the last second. It was just perfect timing with Priest. And that comes with being a smarter and older running back, is because you have developed the patience to see certain visions and see certain holes. So that's what I loved about Priest and watching him, because I actually started to actually mimic him as far as when you run the outside stretch zone plays, to be a little bit more patient.
You have a big national title game going on in college. I know the last time we had you on here, you said Alabama didn't deserve to go into the college playoffs. Here they are in the national title game against the Georgia football team that really runs the ball well with a lot of backs over there. Are you taking the Georgia Bulldogs over Alabama? Who do you like?
I'm taking Georgia Bulldogs all the way. I love that running back that they have there. He's a tough runner, and he has speed. So I love to see the Georgia Bulldogs really take it to Alabama. I mean, Alabama has good team, basically a good team that they have last 5 or 10 years. But I love to see underdogs like Georgia with a great running back that comes through and basically dominates them. Because I've watched them all season, but I know that running back is a pretty good runner.
And everybody's on Barkley, former Nittany Lion like yourself, and we all know he's going to be a special talent, and everybody's very high on him. How do you think Nick Chubb's going to do in the NFL?
I think he's going to do great. I mean, it all depends on what offense he's pushed into. I mean, I think that's the most important part, because he can't be in an offense where if it's too run heavy, then that's a lot of wear and tear on him. He has to be in a balanced type offense. I liken him to LeSean McCoy, because they both have a similar, running style. So I think he needs to be in an offense where it's not too run heavy or pass heavy. It just be just right for him to actually flourish in the league.
And we're being joined here by Larry Johnson. Again, Larry, thank you for joining us. Listen, do you see yourself in Saquon Barkley at all? And what would you tell him coming out of college? If you could give him any advice looking back at your career now, what would you tell him?
I don't really see myself as Saquon, because we both have completely different running styles. He has a little more juke and spin moves and jump moves than I would ever have. I was more like, either you move or you're going to get out the way. That was just my style. I think the one thing that I would give him as far as advice is to be a man on the field and be a man off the field. And I think I suffered from being a man on the field and being a child in the community. I think that's the biggest thing in this business of NFL, because now it's no longer about how you play, it's about how you act around community members, how you act when you represent the team or the business that gives you money. You have to represent yourself as an upstanding gentleman, an upstanding individual, and I lost the sight of that when I got into the league. So I became very selfish and self-centered in some of my actions. So if anything, advice I would give them is just stay grounded and just be a man on the field, be a man off the field.
And I want to get one last prediction from you. Playoffs start today. Who you got going in the Super Bowl?
I got the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I got the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, and I got whoever else in the NFC doesn't make a difference to me because the Chiefs are going to win it this year. I want them to win it this year. I have to speak things into existence. So I want the Chiefs with this great offense and the great defense they have to really, really, really put it together and consistently win throughout these playoffs to get to the Super Bowl.
So you're not worried about how they finished the season? They went in that big slump midway through the season. You think they got everything back together?
I think so. I think it's just a matter of actually knowing what they're good at and actually performing at what they know they're good at. I do too much of these gimmicks of these shuffle passes and these, like I always say, the Little Giants annexation of Puerto Rico, those type plays. Like, just throw those plays out and just go back to running the ball and passing it to Travis Kelce, and they'll win every time.
And win or lose, is this Alex Smith's last year with the Chiefs? Or are they going to move on with Mahomes in the future next year?
I think so. I think they've started to kind of see it's time, especially when the public and the community sees it. The organization will, slowly start to turn and say, okay, we have to actually prepare for the future. And that's what happens with all NFL players, regardless if you like it or not. It's part of the business. When you get a young, hotshot guy that comes in, you want to see him play, you want to see him develop, and I think that's going to happen over time.
And don't forget, Larry does a lot of work with the Motivational Edge, nonprofit program. You can check that out at themotivationaledge.org. Online, we'll post a link to it on our Twitter as well, Over the Top Sports. Take a look at it. Maybe you can help out, donate, because Larry does a lot of great job a lot of great work in the community. Larry, listen, if the Chiefs make that Super Bowl run, we'll have you on. We'd love to talk to you about it as it gets closer. But thank you again for joining us on our 50th show today, and you've been one of our favorite guests, so thanks so much for helping us out.
Thanks so much for having you guys on. Congratulations on your 50th show. Love having you on you.
Thanks, Larry.
Stay warm down there in Florida, my man.
Of course.
Larry Johnson, the great Kansas City Chiefs running back, former Penn State running back as well. Friend of the show, now been on a couple of times, and hey, listen, if the Chiefs make a run, he will be the guest that we have as we get ready for a Super Bowl run for the Chiefs. We all think they're going to win today. And then their big matchup will be next week.
It's an offense that has struggled, but as we noted earlier, they have weapons. One of them, Larry Johnson. The pitch. Johnson up the middle. Breaking free. 40. Midfield. To the 30, inside the 25-yard line, and he is finally brought down. Dre Bly and Champ Bailey caught up with him.
How much did the Kansas City Chiefs need to get off to a start like this? Take a look at the cutback lane right there. Check that out. That was a good 4 yards wide, but it was all made by Larry Johnson cutting back. That play was designed off left tackle. He took it off right tackle. And wow, how much did this crowd appreciate something positive happening to Kansas City early in a game? It's been a while.
The longest run of Larry Johnson's career. 2nd and goal. LJ, touchdown.
Tailback is Johnson. Heward, long count. Johnson cradling the football, not much. Tries to cut it back left and does. Tim to the 5. LJ angling left. Touchdown! Kansas City! And the Chiefs put the hammer down with a 16-yard touchdown run.